I'm just going to share a little bit about the things that I've worked on this past service year. I guess I'd just start by saying that this year has just been a really wonderful opportunity for learning and growing. As you guys know, I grew up in Durham. I love Durham. I did not want to move back to Durham after college at all. So that was a little plot twist. And I sort of just came across the listing for this position with Keep Durham Beautiful, I think like 2 weeks before it started. And I'm so glad that I did. I think if you'd asked me at the beginning of the year if I was an expert on Durham, I would have been like, yes, absolutely. I was wrong. I'm not. And I think one of the most wonderful parts of this year has just been realizing how much more there is to Durham, how much more I've learned about Durham. So many more people. The joke was always that I knew someone at every volunteer event that we went to, but I've also just met so many other wonderful people throughout this year. It's been a great reminder why I love Durham and the wonderful community here. So, yeah. I guess Tanya mentioned that for my AmeriCorps program, I'm doing capacity building. Kind of a vague term, but just increasing the capacity of Keep Durham Beautiful to do the wonderful work that they're doing in this community. So I have managed, most of what I've been doing is managing our long-term volunteer programs. So I'm going to share a little bit about those programs that I've worked on the most. So the first program that I spent a lot of time with was Adopt a Street. And actually, Princess put a lot of work into this the year before. One of the main things that she spent a lot of time with was developing a relationship with the GIS team with the city of Durham and helping to build the interactive interest form that we have, which if you haven't checked it out, it's actually very cool. It's on our website. And through that, I think we've seen a lot of growth from the program. We had 10 new groups join the program this year. So the total is now 26 groups with 28 miles of street adopted in Durham. And I guess to preface the program, I guess I should explain what the program is. Everyone's not familiar. But Adopt a Street members sign a contract committing to clean up a 1 mile stretch of Durham maintained road for a year. So once a month for a year. So it's been really cool to see that program grow. And another part of that is we've been working with the Office of Performance and Innovation, with the I team there, to conduct a cost benefit analysis of the program. And through that, it's been super interesting, one, to see how people actually make a cost benefit analysis. Didn't know that before. And just to see, it makes you realize all the things that are impacted by the program, both things that are coming into it and things that are going out, and how many different parties are involved, and just seeing sort of the breadth of a program, even though it's only 26 groups, sort of the impact that it can have. It's almost done, the cost benefit analysis. So hopefully having that will help with the program in the future, being able to expand it or change the way that we manage it to make it as effective for Durham as possible. And this is me and Tanya and Dawn with a bunch of Adopt a Street volunteers at our volunteer appreciation event. And it's a really sweet picture. These are people that I talked to all year, but a lot of them I never met in person. So it was wonderful to meet everyone. It's a great program, I think, because people are kind of quietly just making a big impact. You know, they don't come in every week for things, but they once a month get a group and go clean in their neighborhood and really inspire the people in their neighborhood also. So, yeah. Another program that I've worked on this year is the Litter Leaders program, which is probably the biggest capacity building program that we have in terms of litter prevention. So litter leaders are volunteers that are trained to lead litter cleanups for Keep Durham Beautiful. Since we are very small on the weekends, when there are a lot of cleanups, we really need a lot of help. So having litter leaders, especially in times like Creek Week and Big Sweep, when we're doing a lot of litter cleanups, it's really helpful to have these people able to lead cleanups for us and take some of that burden so that we can have as many things happening at once as possible. So this year I led 5 litter leader trainings. I trained 61 new volunteers. 20 of those volunteers have helped lead a litter cleanup since they've been trained. 30%, I'll take it, I guess. But this program started, I think, in March 2020. So they had 1 training in person, and then for 2 years they had only Zoom trainings. So the training that I led in October, the first one, was the first in-person training since the beginning of the program. And I think having the in-person trainings was a really wonderful way to build a little community and make people realize that there's other people working to prevent litter in Durham as well. And it's not just, you going on a walk around your neighborhood and having to pick up a lot of trash every day. So it's really great to have this program. And for this, we also did a program analysis with some students from the Nicholas School, from the Duke Community-Based Environmental Management program or class. So they helped us, they didn't actually conduct the program analysis, but they gave us the resources to do it ourselves. So they helped us build some surveys, all focused on volunteer retention. So focused on getting the 20 that have led volunteer cleanups to be a little higher, so that when people come to trainings, we're really keeping them in the program year after year, having them help lead cleanups. So we have these surveys now to sort of figure out what people's motivation is to join the program, what keeps them engaged, what turns them off from the program. And so I led a litter leader training in July and finally started using those surveys. So it'll be really interesting to see what the feedback is from that, especially as we come up for a busy time with litter in Durham, with Big Sweep coming up in the fall, and all the students being back. So that is the Litter Leaders Program. I think that's all I want to say. And another program that I spent a lot of time on was our Litter Kits in Schools program. This was probably my favorite program to work on, mostly because we spend so much time picking up trash and saying litter prevention, but it doesn't sometimes feel like we're preventing litter. It feels like we're just picking it up after the fact. And people always ask that at litter leader trainings. They're like, what are you guys doing to prevent litter, rather than just picking it up? And it can feel a little disheartening to pick up litter so much and be excited that we had a record number of litter picked up last year, pounds of litter. But this program is really wonderful and really aimed at education. And it might be a while till you see the impacts of it, but I really do think that this program will have an impact. To explain it a little bit, we have a program, it started in the spring of 2022. I believe Abby worked on it a lot to get it off the ground, and then Princess helped with the pilot launch. So each school receives a fully stocked litter cleanup kit. So they can go out and do litter cleanups around their school and the surrounding community. And then with that is a curriculum that ties all these topics to their science class standards, so to NC Science standards, so that it can be really easy for the teachers to use it in their classes as well. So we had 20 schools join for the pilot launch last spring. And then this year, we received a grant to expand it to 10 new schools. So we have a total of 32 schools participating in the program now. I do realize that math is off, 32 that kind of just got added in there. So 32 schools, 29 of those are Durham Public Schools. So that means that more than half of Durham Public Schools have a litter kit or participating in this program, and hopefully in the future it will be all of them. One really important part of this program was that it was originally designed for elementary students, and so the curriculum that was distributed with the original kits, which went to middle and high schools as well, was designed for 3rd through 5th graders. So one thing that I worked on this year was building a middle and high school curriculum. And I actually worked with someone in my AmeriCorps cohort who has been serving at the Clean Water Education Partnership. And we worked together to build a curriculum for 6th through 12th graders. Just a little more math involved, a little bit more about sort of development and land use and the impact that has on our watersheds, on litter, problems like that as well. And this is me at my former middle school, actually. I went to lead a litter cleanup with them. And let me say, nothing has changed at all. It was exactly the same. And the whole time they're like, are you guys gonna pay us to pick up the litter? So that's the main question kids ask. So I have to tell them no. But I really love this program. I think it's been such a joy to work on this program and see the impact and see the pictures that teachers send in. We also worked with public art to do, we went to Moorhead Montessori and did a project with them on litter prevention, mural art, which was really fun as well to sort of connect with other people. Sorry, I was looking for you. I was like, I found Rebecca, but I couldn't find you. And so sort of to tie this all together, sorry, I had to throw in a spreadsheet because Chelsea told me she had a lot of spreadsheets. So I wanted to show that I can do spreadsheets too. But to tie it all together, I think we started the service enterprise training classes, I think my first week in the office, actually. I think maybe started before I even was here. And we just got our certification in June. So sort of been a long, throughout the whole year process. But the service enterprise certification is really to certify that you're doing best practices for volunteer management. And a lot of it is focused on skills-based and long-term volunteers, which all those programs that I was talking about before are those skills-based long-term volunteers. So we completed an 8-week class. It was me, Tanya, Dawn, and then our board chair, Michael, as well. And then we had to fill out probably the craziest spreadsheet I've ever seen. I don't know. Again, I don't really do spreadsheets, but it was really breaking down every single aspect of our volunteer management practices and documenting what we do, why we do it, and then showing proof that we do it that way. So we had to make some updates. We made changes to our program to meet these standards, and then we filled out this giant spreadsheet to sort of show how we're serving our volunteers and how we're sort of doing the best practices to support them. And it was really cool to receive that certification. I think it lasts for 3 years. So yeah, this has been a long-term project that I helped to, mostly I helped with the spreadsheet management.
It was very, very helpful.
Keeping it all organized.
Yeah, and keeping us on task.
This is sort of the last thing I was gonna say is that I spent a lot of time this year working on some design and graphics for Keep Your Beautiful. I did our annual report. This is a page from the annual report. Did some other things, wrap-ups for Creek Week and Martin Luther King Jr. Day of Service. This for the DPAC programs. And I think that this has been really fun for me, both because I really enjoy doing the design work, but also just because Keep Your Beautiful is doing so many wonderful things. I think it's really important to communicate that well and to communicate it through lots of different ways. And so that's what I've tried to do with this aspect, and sort of tell the story of Keep Your Beautiful and the impact that we're having in the community as well. And then my last slide is just a thank you to you all. I could not be luckier to have had this be my first position out of college. I've loved being part of General Services team with all of you guys. I've had so much fun in the office, being a little too loud probably. Thank you to Michaela, I don't know who's on the call, Michaela, Nick, and Sadia, who are my program coordinators at Conservation Trust for North Carolina, as well as the Keep Your Beautiful board. Yeah, I've just had such a wonderful time this year, and definitely gonna miss you guys, but I'll be around. And yeah, that's all I got.
Yay, Ellie!
Yeah.
Got some time for some questions?
Oh, wow.
What's next?
Oh, yeah.
All right, on Thursday morning, I'm leaving on a road trip. I'm going on a 3-week road trip, visit some friends out west, doing a big loop. And then when I get back, end of August, I'm gonna be doing AmeriCorps service term with Habitat for Humanity in Orange County, working for their home repair team. So, yeah.
You were a little modest on that slide before this one. Can you go back?
On this one?
Can you talk about that bottom corner?
This one?
Yeah.
What about it? So it's a map of Durham, and then the colors are filled in just between the streets. They're not specific places, but to design, I made it to be like greeting cards mostly, but I believe a copy of it was given to the mayor. Is that what you're going at for? Yeah. I thought that might be what you're thinking.
Let's see. Do we want to, can you stop screen sharing and
Yeah.
see if anybody on the call wants to?
Before you take it in, do you have a question about a slide?
No, slide.
Okay.
Oh,
Just because, Michaela is making some comments. So she might want to say something.
Okay, no fear, I'll know where I am.
Still learning all the technology. Using, this is a meeting, Al, if anybody hasn't used this before.
Okay.
is something muted?
So if anyone on the screen, or if anybody's on Zoom would like to come off of, come on and say anything, you're welcome to. Michaela says you deserve that trip.
I'll say something. Hi, Ellie.
Hey, Michaela.
Yeah, I just wanted to say it's been a joy to have Ellie on, in our program this service year and serving for Keep Durham Beautiful. I have been absolutely, when I had the opportunity to check in with you, it's been great. But Sadia came in and swooped in and really took over for that role. But it's been an honor to get to know you. You have done a fantastic job at serving at KDB. I'm going to miss your jokes. You are a natural comedian.
Yeah.
So if you ever actually decide to do stand up, I'm going to be there. But you've done an amazing job, and I'm very, very proud of you. And I'm happy that you will still be with the AmeriCorps family. So definitely keep in touch. And like I said, use me as a reference, or if you ever want to get any coffee or lunch, I'm going to be around. But yeah, I'm super proud of you, and I wish you nothing but the best with your future endeavors.
Thanks, Michaela.
Thank you.
I did think about doing some stand-up for you. Since technically yesterday was my last day, so I felt like my spare juice.
Does anybody else want to, who's on the Zoom, want to take this one? Oh, here's Sadia.
Hi, Ellie. Hi, everyone. Ellie, this is a happy and sad moment. I know I only got to know you for like 5 short months, but it has been a pleasure, and I know you're going to do great things. I second that comedian comment. Yeah, I know wherever you go, you're going to make a great impact, either on a person level, or just with your hands. I know you said you wanted to work with your hands. I'm glad you're getting to the chance to do that. And I'll see you in Orange County.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Sadia.
Thank you.
So are you really going on a trip for 3 weeks, or are you going on a tour?
All right, open mic. Catch me in Bismarck, North Dakota. At the open mic. I hear they have a great conference scene.
I like to make a comment. I'm at the front desk, but I'm gonna really miss Ellie. Ellie is one, when I'm in the morning, it's quiet. We heard a couple of jokes. She just breaks that ice. She's an icebreaker. I appreciate, get to know you. Other thing I want everybody in the room to know that she breaks the pictures of Season Week.
What?
Yes, Keep Durham Beautiful. Ellie. She's on the pictures, and I love it because she's had her personality is everything. I'm like, Ellie, you want to see your picture? And so we talk about that. So Ellie, you're the next picture. Here you go. You're the next picture. But I'm really gonna miss you, and I hope you much success in your career. I'm sure you're gonna do well. Mine is always in the form of a question.
Yes.
What would you think, or what would you say is the most powerful lesson that you're taking with you from this?
I think sort of what I was talking about at the beginning, just not assuming that I know everything about a place, and just always being open to learning more and meeting new people and like going out in the community. I always joke that I grew up downtown, so I don't leave like a 2-mile radius. So like leaving that radius is a great idea. Like, I think that's what I've learned, just sort of that there's so much more to learn about a place, whether it's history or like culture or just people. And I think that's something, I feel a little bit like a trader going to work in Orange County. I've thought about it, I know. But I'm really excited to sort of approach that and with that in mind, and really get to know that community as well.
So can I ask what city Orange County would?
So it's the whole county, but Chapel Hill, Hillsborough, Carter. Yeah.
Ellie, that reminds me of something that you didn't mention, but that was a pretty significant project you undertook also, was related to history. And so Ellie created a story map that showcases a lot of our most common litter hotspots. And can you tell a little bit about what
Yeah.
went into that?
So, I mean, they're designed to help people that are going to do a cleanup there. So it has all the basic information like, parking, how many people, where the litter is. But one thing I really tried to incorporate there as well was some of the both environmental and just cultural history of those places. I've learned a lot about Durham parks and neighborhoods through this. And I think it's just really been a nice way to sort of ground our projects. Especially when we're doing projects with people who might not really be from Durham or might be new to Durham, trying to get a sense of place for our projects. So including some of that history of those places and then connecting that to sort of the environmental, history of the place as well.
Well, thank you so much. Any other questions in the room? All right, well,
We're gonna miss you.
yes, we're gonna miss you so much, but she assures me she is going to be around, so she'll come back and pester us. And she's
I said, if Tammy will let me in.
Yeah. Don't worry, Ellie, I'll let you in, believe me.
There we go, then I'll be there.
Well, thank you so much.
All right, bear with me if I can figure out how to do this twice.
I'll.
We're having a short intermission to change speakers.
Okay.
And we'll get this room set up again.
Reading my mind.
Yeah.
That worked on you?
Yeah, it works great from this screen, look good. I'm just putting the box Zoom back on.
Sorry.
So if anybody's not, there's an app on your phone that lets you control the meeting owl. So I've been.
I think I just did this and the owl came over.
Yeah. Yeah, it has 3 zones that it can focus on at the same time.
I just wanted to say a few words before Chelsea comes up and gives you her end of fellowship presentation. It's only been 8 months since Chelsea joined us, but it has been such a rewarding and purposeful time for our department, and I just wanted to thank Chelsea for her service. Chelsea has an amazing educational background. She has a master's degree. She has many years of experience in the workforce, and she made the decision to come to Durham to serve this community, to serve general services and our team. And she has done such amazing work to help us really lay a firm foundation in sustainability and energy management. She took many different data sets that were really, really dirty and turned them into something that now we can make data-driven decisions from, that we can better understand what the needs are and our path moving forward. And that is a slog. It is arduous, hours upon hours of staring at Excel spreadsheets. And so from the bottom of my heart, thank you for doing that so I didn't have to. And without further ado, please.
So thank you all for coming. Apologies, I'm not as funny as Ellie, so get that out of the way. Okay. For those who don't know me, Chelsea Simmons. I'm the first SCI AmeriCorps fellow with the city. So my title is technically Sustainability Data Analysis, or Analyst, however you're gonna go. So yeah, I spend a lot of time doing spreadsheets and data crunching, and yeah, mostly a lot of that. But yeah, so that's that. Agenda, so I'm gonna go over 3 of my key projects that I did. I did a lot more than that, but those are my top ones, I guess. Takeaways, and then obviously thank yous. Okay, so for my first project, this is my greenhouse gas inventory. It was the first project that I did with the city when I got here. I was tasked with doing the last 2 fiscal years for the greenhouse gas inventory. So I got to do all kinds of stuff with that, but this helps us benchmark according to our climate action plan, where we are, where we're going, what needs to be happening, which is kind of cool to see in this. You can see like, it dips, it dives, we make good progress down. We got some areas that need help, it's very easy to see what's happening. But during this, I discovered how Duke Energy changed their account structure and how much that screwed up everything. So long story short on that one, we created a whole new SOP. We figured out the new structuring system, and hopefully the next fellow that comes behind me has a lot smoother path through this, and it won't take nearly as long to get the results. So that would be very exciting, and hopefully they appreciate that when they come. Okay, so, probably just a little off, but this is a cross-reference file. So I just kind of created a snapshot of what it would look like. So we did it for all of the city properties. And then, so for general services building, we have all the utilities, and we have water, natural gas, electricity, and then each of the meters, and there can be like multiple meters in these depending on like what's happening. But we kind of went through and created a guide that has all the properties, so they'll have the same ID in the front to tag them all together. And it really helps us get a better understanding of what the building is doing, how the usage works for the whole building versus just like a specific piece of it, which is gonna help with a lot of what Dave's doing with energy efficiencies, where we can add solar, what needs water to be looked at for conservation issues. So that was great. The other thing that this helped us do, hopefully more effectively and a little bit faster, is other projects. So I did a lot of big data pooling for performance contracting, the Impera launch that's coming, Energy Star Portfolio Manager, other one-off tasks for those quick data hunts that we need. Hey, where's that number? Can we find it? So this helps us find all of that, which has been really, really key. And it's going to continue to get updated as we find where the meters are, because we think they're here and might be over there. So not totally done, but it's mostly done. So hopefully that will help everything else going forward. And
Hey, here's an entire other utility.
yeah. Hey, we found this.
This doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, so it was a big project at the beginning, and then it's helped with a lot of other projects along the way. So it was something that I liked doing, honestly, because it was a little nitty-gritty, but it's fine. So that was that one. And apologies, I know it's a little busy slide, but I kind of wanted to showcase the full report. So this is our monthly KPI report, and this goes into on-site solar production and our electric vehicle charging. It's only for the smart chargers and charge points, so we don't quite have the other ones in there yet. But this helps us for on-site solar look at all June, comparing what it's doing, and this kind of helps see if we have any issues with solar arrays, so if there's something that's down, how production is doing month over month for each year, and then we called out total production for the month, as well as avoided costs that we would have spent on electricity that we don't have to spend because we put solar in. Then switching to the electric vehicle charging, this shows all of our sites across the bottom and how much we're charging from them. So this is kilowatt hour usage, so basically how long someone plugged in for, how much they use. And then the one beside it is actually gallons of gasoline saved. And then we kind of did a rough cost savings of how much dollars and gallons that would be based on what the average price of gasoline was for the month. Side note, we don't actually save that money because we aren't charging for charging yet, but when we get there, maybe we'll be saving some money, so it's a nice one. And then the thing that I liked about the monthly KPI that we could do is call out anything special or really noteworthy that happened. So in May, in May, we surpassed all of 2022 solar production. So it's only gonna get better from here, but that's like really cool to see that not even halfway through the year yet, we've already surpassed what we're gonna be doing. So it's something you can call out, and then these get sent out every month. I did the one for July this morning, so we just finished that one. But it's a good way to call it out and kind of showcase what we're doing and how everybody is making progress. Okay, key takeaways. So I'd like to start with my favorite quote, which is ironically at the end of my email, but it's don't go where the path may lead, go instead where there's no path and leave a trail. And for me, I really think that everyone here is helping blaze new trails. We're setting goals and making sustainability happen in places that it hasn't happened yet, ways that it hasn't happened yet, especially a lot of times even in the public sector. Some of the private sector today, public sector isn't on that yet. But we're trying to get creative because we have limited time, staff, money, you know, a multitude of things that happen in the city. So we have to be very creative on how we're doing it. And I really think that like everything you guys have shown me that the local level is doing is something that I really appreciate and I don't think I fully understood before. And I really love to see what like everyone is doing and all the different paths that they're taking. And like all of it's taught me is that everyone's doing this. Like this is what you guys are going towards. This is what we're doing, and it's making the impact, which is great. We can show the pretty data graphs that it's actually going somewhere. We're doing something, but it's something I really loved learning while I was here because I didn't really understand local government as well as I thought I did. But on a personal side, energy wasn't something that I was hugely not my background. Not really my background. So I learned a lot about energy. You guys taught me so much about different energy things, solar, electric vehicles, buildings, how it all works, how energy moves through things. So I've learned literally so much about energy that's really important. I also learned that Duke Energy really, really frustrates me. So there's that. But you guys have really been a huge asset for me, continuously learning and making connections. And yeah, I just really appreciate that. I really appreciate how welcoming everyone has been. I know I'm a temporary person here, but no one's really treated me like that. And I really, really appreciate that. And then my thank yous. So obviously thank you to Andrea, my SEI fellows, and everything that they've taught me and that I've learned through that side of the house of things. That's kind of like a little more behind the scenes of what I do. Obviously special thanks to my team, my SEI team for, you know, being really understanding and coaching me through the last 8 months. Thank you to Dave for re-explaining the same concept to me 17 times until I got it. Eventually stuck, we got there. Thank you, Amy, for always being in my corner and helping me with anything I need help with. I really, really appreciate that. I thank Paul, even though he isn't here, for everything that he taught me and the different perspectives that I gained from having conversations with him. And just like thank all of you guys for really just welcoming me and teaching me things and allowing me to learn and make mistakes and continue to grow. Yeah.
What's next?
Okay, so I got an offer that I accepted from a company called Site Logic that's partnering with the Durham Public Schools to make all of them more sustainable. So I'm going to be staying in Durham, but working on the public school side and hopefully helping make them more sustainable. Let's go see you guys.
Do you know more? Can you tell us more about what Site Logic is gonna do for them, or do you too soon?
So they do like a multitude of things. It's more of like a holistic view from them. So we work on adding solar, changing out LED lights, making the buildings more efficient, turning it off in the winter breaks and during those breaks. We also look at food waste, water conservation issues. So if there's like hidden leaks, how to like teach that. And then we also go into the schools and we'll do classroom visits so that we can teach kids K through 12, so all of the gamut, on how to be more sustainable, what's important, why we should do it, what solar is, all of the things. So I'm like really excited about that because I haven't like got to do that piece in a while. So it's gonna teach all the little kiddies.
If I could dance, I would be dancing.
So it's cool because it's gonna, you know, you're not only teaching the next generation, but those kids are gonna take it home, teach their parents, and hopefully help the community as a whole get more sustainable.
Woo, woo.
And partner with our Litter Kids in Schools.
I know, I saw that, I was like,
We can
hey.
add some curriculum to like, to jive with what you're doing.
Yeah, that would be perfect. I saw that up there. I was like, ooh, idea.
If you had one recommendation on how to make data more accessible, both internally and externally based on the work that you've done, what would that recommendation be?
Okay. I think internally, my hope is that when Impera stands up, it's gonna be easier to get into, and we might have ways to make like I'm not fully sure how Impera works yet, but there might be like a guest option where they can't necessarily mess up anything with it, but they can go in and look for things and kind of hunt down the data and show the pretty graphs, which Impera does from the snapshots we've seen. I think externally, it's gonna become more of like a report system, kind of publishing out, almost kind of like corporate companies do. This is what we had last year, this is what it looks like, because I'm sure that's gonna have to get approved and passed through something to get on the public side. That's where I still have fuzzy areas in local government, but I think that's probably gonna be that piece that would be helpful.
Did you leave the secret note in the secret for the next fellow? Did you leave them the Oval Office message?
Yeah, I wrote lots of little helpful hints, but hopefully, we're going over that later, where I left all the secret notes stashed.
But I mean the personal note, the thing that you want to pass on personally, did you leave them the?
Not yet, I'm still working on that one. I have come back Thursday, I can sneak it in there Thursday. Have fun, use energy.
So I think what I would say is that the work that you've done has been presented at the highest levels of our organization and it was amazing. Yeah.
Oh,
Big thanks for all the work that you did. That's gonna make my job easier.
Yes.
In addition to the fellows who are coming after you, so it's been tremendous to see the amount of work, the amount of cleanup that got done and all that sort of stuff, so. thank you very much.
yeah.
We're gonna miss you.
I know. That's always my goal though, is to leave it a little better than I found it. So hopefully I left it a lot better than I found it. So hopefully everybody else gets to be smoother and the next fellow can do all the cool, crazy spreadsheet diagrams that I didn't get to do necessarily. So that's my hope. You guys can launch now.
I think you've had to try really, really hard to make it worse.
Obviously, he wants to go on the 3-week tour too.
Yes,
Chelsea, I just wanted to just thank you so much. Chelsea is only our second SEI Climate Corps Fellow in North Carolina. We originated in California and have been expanding nationally. So together with Amy and this whole team, we just appreciate being like the pioneers in the state. And, you know, thanks to, I think in great part to Chelsea, who's been just an exemplar of what fellows can do. City of Raleigh has now signed on to take on a fellow as well. And we're hoping that, you know, some other local governments and other partners will follow. So thank you so much just for demonstrating like the best of what a fellow can be.
All right.
You just stand up there for another 30
I was like,
seconds.
yeah.
Thank you so much.